This article is about the retired Brazilian footballer. For other uses, see Pele, disambiguation. Array redirects here. For the Portuguese footballer of the same nickname of Eusebio. This name uses Portuguese naming customs. The first of maternal family name is Arantes and the second of paternal family name is Nascimento. Edson Arantes de Nascimento, Brazilian Portuguese, Pele. Born the 23rd of October 1940, known as Pele, Brazilian Portuguese, Pele, is a retired Brazilian professional footballer who played as a forward. He is widely regarded as the greatest football player of all time. Pele has also been known for connecting the phrase, "the beautiful game," with football. In 1999, he was voted World Player of the Century by the International Federation of Football History and Statistics, IFFHS. That year, France Football asked their former Ballon d'Or winners to choose the football player of the century. They selected Pele. In 1999, Pele was elected Athlete of the Century by the IOC. That year, Time named him in the list of 100 most influential people of the 20th century. In 2013, he received the FIFA Ballon d'Or Prix d'honneur in recognition of his career and achievements as a global icon of football. According to the IFFHS, Pele is the most successful league goal scorer in the world, scoring 1281 goals in 1363 games, which included unofficial friendlies and tour games. He was listed in the Guinness World Records for most career goals scored in football for this. During his playing days, Pele was for a period the best-paid athlete in the world. In Brazil, he is hailed as a national hero for his accomplishments in football and for his outspoken support of policies that improve the social conditions of the poor. In 1961, Brazil President Jânio Quadros had Pele declared a national treasure. During his career, he became known as the Black Pearl of Perola Negra, the King of Football, O Rei de Futebol, the King Pele, or simply, the King, O Rei de Futebol. Pele began playing for Santos at age 15 and the Brazil national football team at 16. During his international career, he won 3 FIFA World Cups, 1958, 1962 and 1970, being the only player ever to do so. Pele is the all-time leading goalscorer for Brazil with 77 goals in 92 games. At club level he is also the record goalscorer for Santos, and led them to the 1962 and 1963 Copa Libertadores. Pele's electrifying play and penchant for spectacular goals made him a star around the world, and his club team Santos toured internationally in order to take full advantage of his popularity. Since retiring in 1977, Pele has been a worldwide ambassador for football and has made many acting and commercial ventures. In 2010, he was named the honorary president of the New York Cosmos. Early years. Pele was born in Três Corações, Minas Gerais, Brazil. The son of Fluminense footballer Dondinho, born João Ramos de Nascimento, and Celeste Arantes. He was the elder of 2 siblings. He was named after the American inventor Thomas Edison. His parents decided to remove I and call him Edson, but there was a mistake on the birth certificate, leading many documents to show his name as Edison, not Edson, as he is called. He was originally nicknamed Deco by his family. He received the nickname Pele during his school days, when it is claimed he was given it because of his pronunciation of the name of his favorite player, local Vasco da Gama goalkeeper Bill, which he misspoke, but the more he complained the more it stuck. In his autobiography, Pele stated he had no idea what the name means, nor did his old friends. Apart from the assertion that the name is derived from that of Bila, and that it is Hebrew for miracle, the word has no known meaning in Portuguese. Pele grew up in poverty in Bauru in the state of São Paulo. He earned extra money by working in tea shops as a servant. Taught to play by his father, he could not afford a proper football and usually played with either a sock stuffed with newspaper and tied with a string or a grapefruit. He played for several amateur teams in his youth, including Setembro, Canto de Rio, São Paulinho, and Ameriquinha. Pele led Bauru Athletic Club Juniors, coached by Valdemar Brito, to 3 consecutive São Paulo State Youth Championships between 1954 and 1956. He also dominated Futebol de Salão, indoor football, competitions in the region and won several championships with local team Radium Club Pereira Santos. In 1956, De Brito took Pele to Santos, an industrial and port city located near São Paulo, to try out for professional club Santos FC. Telling the directors at Santos that the 15-year-old would be the greatest football player in the world. Pele impressed Santos coach Lula during his trial at the Estadio Vila Belmiro, and he signed a professional contract with the club in June 1956. Pele was highly promoted in the local media as a future superstar. He made his senior team debut on the 7th of September 1956 at the age of 15 against Corinthians Santo André and had an impressive performance in a 7-1 victory, scoring the first of his record 1281 goals in football during the match. When the 1957 season started, Pele was given a starting place in the first team and, at the age of 16, became the top scorer in the league. 10 months after signing professionally, the teenager was called up to the Brazil national team. After the 1962 World Cup, wealthy European clubs such as Real Madrid, Juventus and Manchester United tried to sign him, but the government of Brazil declared Pele an official national treasure, to prevent him from being transferred out of the country. Pele with Santos in the Netherlands, October 1962. Pele won his first major title with Santos in 1958 as the team won the Campeonato Paulista. Pele would finish the tournament as top scorer with 58 goals, a record that stands today. A year later, he would help the team earn their first victory in the Torneio Rio São Paulo with a 3-0 over Vasco da Gama. However, Santos was unable to retain the Paulista title. In 1960, Pele scored 33 goals to help his team regain the Campeonato Paulista trophy but lost out on the Rio São Paulo tournament after finishing in 8th place. Another 47 goals from Pele saw Santos retain the Campeonato Paulista. The club went on to win the Taça Brazil that same year, beating Bahia in the finals. Pele finished as top scorer of the tournament with 9 goals. The victory allowed Santos to participate in the Copa Libertadores, the most prestigious club tournament in the Western Hemisphere. I arrived hoping to stop a great man, but I went away convinced I had been undone by someone who was not born on the same planet as the rest of us. Benfica goalkeeper Costa Pereira following the loss to Santos in 1962. Santos's most successful club season started in 1962. The team was seeded in Group 1 alongside Cerro Porteño and Deportivo Municipal Bolivia, winning every match of their group but won a 1-1 away tie versus Cerro, with Pele scoring his first goal against Cerro. Santos defeated Universidad Católica in the semi-finals and met defending champions Penarol in the finals, in which Pele scored twice in the playoff match to secure the first title for a Brazilian club. Pele finished as the second top scorer of the competition with 4 goals. That same year, Santos would successfully defend the Campeonato Brasileiro, with 37 goals from Pele, and the Taça Brazil, Pele scoring 4 goals in the final series against Botafogo. Santos would also win the 1962 Intercontinental Cup against Benfica. Wearing his number 10 shirt, Pele produced one of the best performances of his career, scoring a hat-trick in Lisbon as Santos won 5-2. International career. 1958 World Cup. Pele arrived in Sweden sidelined by a knee injury, but on his return from the treatment room, his colleagues closed ranks and insisted upon his selection. His first match was against the USSR in the third match of the first round of the 1958 FIFA World Cup, where he gave the assist to Vava's second goal. He was the youngest player of the tournament, and at the time the youngest ever to play in the World Cup. He scored his first World Cup goal against Wales in quarter-finals, the only goal of the match, to help Brazil advance to semi-finals, while becoming the youngest ever World Cup goal scorer at 17 years and 239 days. Against France in the semi-final, Brazil were leading 2-1 at half-time. And then Pele scored a hat-trick, becoming the youngest in World Cup history to do so. Pele cries on the shoulder of Guilherme dos Santos Neves, after Brazil won the 1958 World Cup. On the 29th of June 1958, Pele became the youngest player to play in a World Cup final match at 17 years and 249 days. He scored 2 goals in that final as Brazil beat Sweden 5-2 in the capital of Stockholm. His first goal, where he flicked the ball over a defender before volleying into the corner of the net, was selected as one of the best goals in the history of the World Cup. Following Pele's second goal, Swedish player Sigvard Parling would later comment, when Pele scored the 5th goal in that final, "I have to be honest and say I felt like applauding." When the match ended, Pele passed out on the field and had to be attended by the medical staff. He then recovered, and was compelled by the victory to weep as he was being congratulated by his teammates. He finished the tournament with 6 goals in 4 matches played, tied for second place, behind record breaker Just Fontaine, and was named Best Young Player of the tournament. It was in the 1958 World Cup that Pele began wearing a jersey with number 10. Recently it has become known that the event was the result of disorganization. The leaders did not send the shirt numbers of players, and it was up to FIFA to choose the number 10 shirt to Pele, who was a substitute on the occasion. The press proclaimed Pele the greatest revelation of the 1958 World Cup, and he was also retroactively given the silver ball as the second best player of the tournament, behind Didi. South American Championship. Pele also played in the South American Championship. In the 1959 competition, he was named best player of the tournament and was top scorer with 8 goals, as Brazil came second despite being unbeaten in the tournament. 1962 World Cup. Pele fighting for a ball against the Swedish goalkeeper Carl Svensson during the 1958 World Cup final. This was expected to be Pele's World Cup, as he was rated as the best player in the world at the time. In the first match of the 1962 World Cup in Chile, against Mexico, Pele assisted the first goal and then scored the second one, after a run past 4 defenders, to go up 2-0. He injured himself while attempting a long-range shot against Czechoslovakia. This would keep him out of the rest of the tournament, and force coach Amor Moreira to make his only lineup change of the tournament. The substitute was Amarildo, who performed well for the rest of the tournament. However, it was Garrincha who would take the leading role and carry Brazil to their second World Cup title, after beating Czechoslovakia at the final in the capital of Santiago. 1966 World Cup. The 1966 World Cup in England was marked, among other things, for the fouling of Pele by the Bulgarian and Portuguese defenders. Pele was the most famous footballer in the world, and Brazil fielded some world champions like Garrincha, Gilmar and Jalma Santos, with the addition of other stars like Jairzinho, Tostão and Gerson, leading to high expectations for them. Brazil was eliminated in the first round, playing only 3 matches. Pele scored the first goal from a free kick against Bulgaria, becoming the first player to score in 3 successive FIFA World Cups, but due to his injury, a result of persistent fouling by the Bulgarians, he missed the second game against Hungary. Brazil lost that game and Pele, although still recovering, was brought back for the last crucial match against Portugal at Goodison Park in Liverpool by the Brazilian coach Vicente Fiola. Fiola changed the entire defense, including the goalkeeper. While in midfield he returned to the formation of the first match. In attack he maintained Jairzinho and substituted the other 2 players, despite knowing that Pele was still recovering from his serious injuries. During the game, Portugal defender João Morais fouled Pele, but was not sent off by referee George McCabe. Pele had to stay on the field limping for the rest of the game, since substitutes were not allowed at the time. After this game he vowed he would never again play in the World Cup, a decision he would later change. 1970 World Cup. The most wondrous player of all, Pele consecrated Brazil as the cathedral of the beautiful game. Brazil, 70 were a team of superstars dedicated not just to a cause but an ideal, a dream of what football should be. Sports writer Jeff Powell. Pele was called to the national team in early 1969, he refused at first, but then accepted and played in 6 World Cup qualifying matches, scoring 6 goals. The 1970 World Cup in Mexico was to be Pele's last. Brazil's squad for the tournament featured major changes in relation to the 1966 squad. Players like Garrincha, Nilton Santos, Valdir Pereira, Jalma Santos and Gilmar had already retired, but the team, with Pele, Rivellino, Jairzinho, Gerson, Carlos Alberto Torres, Tostão and Clodoaldo, is often considered to be the greatest football team in history. Pele, front row second from right, before the match against Peru in the 1970 World Cup. The front 5 of Jairzinho, Pele, Gerson, Tostão and Rivellino together created an attacking momentum, with Pele having a central role in Brazil's way to the final. All of Brazil's matches in the tournament, except the final, were played in Guadalajara. And in the first match against Czechoslovakia, Pele gave Brazil her 2-1 lead, by controlling Gerson's long pass with his chest and then scoring. In this match Pele attempted to lob goalkeeper Ivo Victor from the halfway line, only narrowly missing the Czechoslovak goal. Brazil went on to win the match, 4-1. In the first half of the match against England, Pele nearly scored with a header that was saved by the England goalkeeper Gordon Banks. In the second half, he controlled a cross from Tostão before flicking the ball to Jairzinho, who scored the only goal. Mario Zagallo, Brazil's 1970 coach with Pele in 2008. Zagallo said of Pele, a kid in Sweden, 1958 World Cup gave signs of genius, and in Mexico, 1970 World Cup, he fulfilled all but promise and closed the book with a golden key, and I had the privilege to see it all from close up. Against Romania in Guadalajara, Pele scored the first goal with a bending free kick hit with the outside of his right foot. Later in the match he scored again to make it 3-1. Brazil won by a final score of 3-2. In the quarterfinals against Peru, Brazil won 4-2, with Pele assisting Tostao for Brazil's third goal. In their semi-final match, Brazil faced Uruguay for the first time since the 1950 World Cup. Final round match, Jairzinho put Brazil ahead 2-1, and Pele assisted Rivellino for the 3-1. During that match, Pele made one of his most famous plays. Tostao passed the ball for Pele to collect, which Uruguay's goalkeeper Ladislao Mazurkovic took notice of and ran off his line to get the ball before Pele. However, Pele got there first and fooled Mazurkovic with a feint by not touching the ball, causing it to roll to the goalkeeper's left, while Pele went to the goalkeeper's right. Pele ran around the goalkeeper to retrieve the ball and took a shot while turning towards the goal, but he turned in excess as he shot, and the ball drifted just wide of the far post. Brazil played Italy in the final at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. Pele scored the opening goal with a header over Italian defender Tarcisio Bergnic. He then made assists on Brazil's third goal, scored by Jairzinho, and the fourth finished by Carlos Alberto, which is often considered the greatest team goal of all time, involving all but two of the team's outfield players, and ended with Pele making a blind pass which went into the path of Carlos Alberto, who came running from behind, and struck the ball to score. Brazil won the match 4-1, keeping the Jules Rimet trophy indefinitely, and Pele received the Golden Ball as player of the tournament. Bergnic, who marked Pele during the final, was quoted saying, "I told myself before the game, he's made of skin and bones just like everyone else, but I was wrong." Pele's last international match was on the 18th of July 1971 against Yugoslavia in Rio de Janeiro. With Pele on the field, the Brazilian team's record was 67 wins, 14 draws and 11 losses. Brazil never lost a match while fielding both Pele and Garrincha. Personal life. On the 21st of February 1966, Pele married Rosemary dos Reis Colby. They have two daughters, Kelly Christina, born the 13th of January 1967, who married Drive Arthur De Luca, and Jennifer B. 1978, as well as a son, Edson Edinho B. The 27th of August 1970. The couple divorced in 1982. In 1977, Brazilian media reported that Pele had his right kidney removed. From 1981 to 1986, Pele was romantically linked with the model Xuxa, and was seen as influential in launching her career. She was 17 when they were started to date. In April 1994, Pele married psychologist and gospel singer Asiria Lemos Seekers, who gave birth on the 28th of September 1996 to twins Joshua and Celeste through fertility treatments. The couple divorced in 2008. Pele had at least two more children from former affairs. Sandra Machado, his daughter with the housemaid Anazia Machado in 1964. For years fought to be acknowledged by Pele, who refused to submit to DNA tests. Although she was recognized by courts as his daughter based on DNA evidence in 1993, Pele never acknowledged his eldest daughter even after her death in 2006, nor her two children, Octavio and Gabriel. Pele had another daughter, Flavia Kurtz, in an extramarital affair in 1968 with journalist Lenita Kurtz. Yugoslavia was recognized by him as his daughter. At the age of 73, Pele announced his intention to marry 41-year-old Marcia Aoki, a Japanese-Brazilian importer of medical equipment from Penápolis, São Paulo, whom he has been dating since 2010. They first met in the mid-1980s in New York, before meeting again in 2008. Pele is now married to Marcia Aoki, who stood by him during his illness in 2014. In 1970, Pele was investigated by the Brazilian military dictatorship for suspected leftist sympathies. Declassified documents show Pele was investigated after being handed a manifesto calling for the release of political prisoners. Pele himself did not get further involved within political struggles in the country. He has been criticized in the public opinion for his conservative views. In June 2013, during the Brazilian protests, he asked for people to forget the demonstrations and support the Brazil national team. In November 2012, Pele underwent a successful hip operation. In May 2014, his son Edinho was jailed for 33 years for laundering money from drug trafficking. Pele has stated that he is a Catholic. After football, in 1995, Brazilian President Fernando Henrique Cardoso appointed Pele to the position of Extraordinary Minister for Sport, and he was also appointed a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador. During this time he proposed legislation to reduce corruption in Brazilian football, which became known as the Pele Law. Pele left his position in 2001 after he was accused of involvement in a corruption scandal, although nothing was proven, and it was denied by UNICEF. In 1997, he received an honorary knighthood from Queen Elizabeth II at a ceremony in Buckingham Palace. Pele also helped inaugurate the 2006 FIFA World Cup final, alongside supermodel Claudia Schiffer. Pele, Brazil's extraordinary minister for sport, with U.S. President Bill Clinton in Rio de Janeiro, the 15th of October 1997. Pele publicly accused the Brazilian football administrator Ricardo Teixeira of corruption after Pele's television company was rejected in a contest for the Brazilian domestic rights to the 1994 World Cup. Pele accusations led to an 8-year feud between the pair. As a consequence of the affair, the president of FIFA, João Havelange, banned Pele from the draw for the 1994 FIFA World Cup in Las Vegas. Criticisms over the ban were perceived to have negatively affected Havelange's chances of re-election as FIFA's president in 1994. Pele has published several autobiographies, starred in documentary films, and composed musical pieces, including the soundtrack for the film Pele in 1977. He appeared, alongside other footballers of the 1960s and 1970s, with Michael Caine and Sylvester Stallone, in the 1981 film Escape to Victory, about a World War II-era football match between Allied prisoners of war and a German team. In 1969, Pele starred in a telenovela called Dos Estranhos, about first contact with aliens. It was created to drum up interest in the Apollo missions. In 2001, had a cameo role in the satire film, Mike Bassett, England manager. Brazil President Lula and Pele in commemoration of 50 years since the first World Cup title won by Brazil in 1958, at the Palacio de Planalto, 2008. In November 2007, Pele was in Sheffield, England to mark the 150th anniversary of the world's oldest football club, Sheffield FC. Pele was the guest of honour at Sheffield's anniversary match against Inter Milan, which Inter won 5-2 at Bramall Lane. As part of his visit, Pele opened an exhibition which included the first public showing in 40 years of the original handwritten rules of football. Pele scouted for Premier League club Fulham in 2002. He made the draw for the qualification groups for the 2006 FIFA World Cup finals. On the 1st of August 2010, Pele was introduced as the honorary president of the revived New York Cosmos, aiming to field a team in Major League Soccer on the 3rd of August 2011. It was reported that Santos were considering bringing him out of retirement for a cameo role in the 2011 FIFA Club World Cup, although this later turned out to be false. The most notable area of Pele's life since football is his ambassadorial work. In 1992, he was appointed a UN ambassador for ecology and the environment. He was also awarded Brazil's gold medal for outstanding services to the sport in 1995. In 2012, Pele was awarded an honorary degree from the University of Edinburgh for significant contribution to humanitarian and environmental causes, as well as his sporting achievements. On the 12th of August 2012, Pele was an attendee at the 2012 Olympic Hunger Summit hosted by UK Prime Minister David Cameron at 10 Downing Street, London. Part of a series of international efforts which have sought to respond to the return of hunger as a high-profile global issue. Later on the same day, Pele appeared at the closing ceremony of the 2012 Summer Olympics in London, following the handover section to the next host city for the 2016 Summer Olympics, Rio de Janeiro. In March 2016, Pele filed a lawsuit against Samsung Electronics in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois, seeking $30 million in damages, claiming violations under the Lanham Act for false endorsement and a state law claim for violation of his right of publicity. The suit alleges that at one point Samsung and Pele came close to entering into a licensing agreement for Pele to appear in a Samsung advertising campaign. Samsung abruptly pulled out of the negotiations. The October 2015 Samsung ad in question includes a partial face shot of a man who allegedly very closely resembles Pele, and also a superimposed high-definition television screen next to the image of the man, featuring a modified bicycle scissors kick perfected and famously used by Pele. Honors: International, Brazil. FIFA World Cup 3, 1958, 1962, 1970. Rocker Cup 2, 1957, 1963. Cruise Cup 3, 1958, 1962, 1968. Bernardo O'Higgins Cup 1, 1959. Atlantic Cup 1, 1960. Club: Santos. Copa Libertadores 2, 1962-1963. Intercontinental Cup 2, 1962-1963. Intercontinental Super Cup 1, 1968. Campeonato Brasileiro Série A 6, 1961, 1962, 1963, 1964, 1965, 1968. Torneio Rio São Paulo 4, 1959, 1963, 1964, 1966. Campeonato Paulista 10, 1958, 1960, 1961, 1962, 1964, 1965, 1967, 1968, 1969, 1973. New York Cosmos. North American Soccer League, Soccer Bowl 1, 1977. North American Soccer League, Atlantic Conference Championship 1, 1977. Individual: Santos. Copa Libertadores top scorer, 1, 1965. Campeonato Brasileiro Série A top scorer, 3, 1961, 1963, 1964. Campeonato Paulista top scorer, 11, 1957, 1958, 1959, 1960, 1961, 1962, 1963, 1964, 1965, 1969, 1973. Torneo Rio São Paulo top scorer, 1, 1963. Bola de Prata, 1970. Brazil. FIFA World Cup Best Young Player, 1, 1958. FIFA World Cup Golden Ball Best Player, 1, 1970. FIFA World Cup Silver Ball, 1, 1958. FIFA World Cup Silver Boot, 1, 1958. FIFA World Cup All-Star Team, 2, 1958, 1970. FIFA World Cup All-Time Team, 1994. FIFA World Cup Dream Team, 2002. Copa America Best Player, 1, 1959. Copa America Top Scorer, 1, 1959. FIFA Ballon d'Or Prix d'Honneur, 2013. Ballon d'Or, 1958, 1959, 1960, 1961, 1963, 1964, 1970. Le Nouveau Palmarès, the new winners. FIFA Player of the Century, 2000. FIFA Order of Merit, 1984. FIFA Centennial Award, 2004. BBC Sports Personality of the Year Overseas Personality, 1970. BBC Sports Personality of the Year Lifetime Achievement Award, 2005. Greatest Football Player to have ever played the game, by Golden Foot, 2012. Athlete of the Century, by Reuters News Agency, 1999. Athlete of the Century, elected by International Olympic Committee, 1999. Athlete of the Century, elected by worldwide journalists, poll by French daily L'Equipe, 1981. South American Footballer of the Year, 1, 1973. Silver Ball South American Footballer of the Year, 1, 1972. South America Football Player of the Century, by IFFHS International Federation of Football History and Statistics, 1999. Football Player of the Century, by IFFHS International Federation of Football History and Statistics, 1999. Football Player of the Century, elected by France Football's Ballon d'Or winners, 1999. UNICEF Football Player of the Century, 1999. Inducted into the American National Soccer Hall of Fame, 1993. Laureus World Sports Awards Lifetime Achievement Award from South African President Nelson Mandela, 2000. World Team of the 20th Century, 1998. World Soccer World She, 7, 1960, 1961, 1962, 1963, 1964, 1965, 1966. World Soccer The Greatest Players of the 20th Century, 1999. World Soccer Greatest She of All Time, 2013. L'Equipe's Top 50 South American Footballers in History, 1, 2015. Honorary degree from the University of Edinburgh celebrating Pele's significant contribution to humanitarian and environmental causes, as well as his sporting achievements, 2012. Time one of the 100 most important people of the 20th century, 1999. Painted by Andy Warhol as part of Warhol's Athletes series. Pele has appeared in numerous postage stamps issued around the world, including North Korea in 1989. FIFA World Cup's Top 100 Footballers of All Time, by The Guardian, number 1, 2014. FIFA 100 Greatest Living Footballers, 2004. Brazilian Football Museum Hall of Fame. In December 2000, Pele and Maradona shared the prize of FIFA Player of the Century by FIFA. The award was originally intended to be based upon votes in a web poll. But after it became apparent that it favored Diego Maradona, many observers complained that the internet nature of the poll would have meant a skewed demographic of younger fans who would have seen Maradona play, but not Pele. FIFA then appointed a «Family of Football» committee of FIFA members to decide the winner of the award together with the votes of the readers of the FIFA magazine. The committee chose Pele, since Maradona was winning the internet poll. However, it was decided he and Pele should share the award. Orders: Knight of the Order of Rio Branco, 1967. Commander of the Order of Rio Branco, 1969. Order of Merit of the Republic of Hungary, 1994. Knight Commander of the Order of the British Empire, 1997. Personal records: Brazil national football team all-time leading scorer. 77 goals, 95 goals including unofficial friendlies. Intercontinental Cup all-time leading scorer, 7 goals. World record number of hat-trick, 92. Guinness World Records, most career goals, football, 1283 goals in 1363 games. Guinness World Records, most FIFA World Cup winners' medals. Youngest scorer in the FIFA World Cup, 17 years and 239 days, Brazil v Wales, 1958. Youngest hat-trick in the FIFA World Cup, 17 years and 244 days, Brazil v France, 1958. Youngest player to play in a FIFA World Cup final match, 17 years and 249 days, Brazil v Sweden, 1958. Youngest scorer in the FIFA World Cup final match, 17 years and 249 days, Brazil v Sweden, 1958. Youngest winner of a FIFA World Cup, 17 years in 1958 FIFA World Cup.